everyone, it's Charlotte here from the Mothership ReConnected. I'm here with my friend Kasia, my good friend Kasia. And
hello.
Hi Kasia. Kasia is a mindfulness coach, a yoga meditation teacher, a healer and a multitude of other wonderful things. And we're here to discuss with Kasia really about spirituality, about self-love, about life activation, about all the things that Kasia's up to. Kasia lives locally to me and she's a wonderful woman of wisdom, aren't you Kasia?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I'd love to share that with you.
And so we're going to share some of Kasia's beautiful nuggets of wisdom today. So here we go. Kasia, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me on this lovely Sunday morning.
So tell everybody a little bit about what you do and your background and how you got into what it is that you do.
Okay.
You're a healer, right?
Yes. So that's my passion. That's something which I'm called to do here. And I knew that even as a 9-year-old. This very story comes to my mind where as a 9-year-old I was interviewed by a Polish writer, Małgorzata Musierowicz. And she asked me many questions, as you would ask 9-year-old, but this very question stuck in my mind when she asked me, what do you want to do when you grow up? And then, as a child, I screamed with all the excitement, I want to make the world peace.
World peace?
World peace.
Wow,
yeah.
that's a big aspiration at the age of 9.
Yeah, so let me tell you, she was quite surprised. And she paused and with curious face, she said, how are you going to do it? And for me it was so simple. I said, with one person at a time. So that brings me actually to what I do right now. So my deep desire is to remind everyone that we can create a peaceful mind and peaceful heart within.
Yeah.
And by that, wherever we go and whoever we meet, we actually share that high frequency of love and joy. And I think that's how we can change the world.
That's beautiful. So how would you describe or explain to people what that actually means around being a healer? Because obviously you're facilitating meditation, yoga, peacefulness and self-love with people. How do you give people kind of an insight into what that actually means?
Yes. So whatever I offer, starting from healing session or classes, it's always guiding everyone home to the space within where we can really get to know oneself, where we can really see what serves me, where do I feel the joy, where am I aligned, where things feel right. Because from that space of really knowing oneself, we can make the change. And we can start creating the life of our dreams, the life of fulfillment, harmony, and balance. So when I offer sessions, life activation is the very first step of awakening our DNA and bringing us to the potential of creating the desired life. So when we do the life activation, we balance all our energetical structure. And so many of us, we just taking care of this physical body, forgetting about our mental, emotional well-being, forgetting about the energetical body around. And that's through the healing session, we start addressing all aspects of ourselves. And we start not only balancing them, but we start cleansing them and empowering them to start shining the light, to start coming to that space within of our origin or of our blueprint, where we can start sharing our talents and our gifts.
Sounds amazing. Sign me up, Kasia. So I met you at a holistic event, didn't I?
Yes.
In Stowe.
Yes.
Quite a few months ago. I think it was probably last summer.
I think it was
Yeah, it was last summer. Yeah. And I did a session with you. I've done a few sessions with you actually.
Yeah.
And I would say that the practice that you teach is very powerful. It's very, very powerful. People come to you from all over London, don't they?
Yes, they do.
But you'd like a few more locals, wouldn't you?
Yes. So I teach quite a lot in central London.
Yes.
And I do have a few classes here in Chingford and Walthamstow. And I love when people come and they've never meditated.
Yeah, like my partner with it.
Yes, and they allow themselves to experience that state of peacefulness. And sometimes, Sometimes it's easier to meditate, and sometimes it's a bit harder because we all have our daily challenges in life.
That's right, because our minds are busy, aren't they? All the time, and I think it's a modern phenomenon. Perhaps, I don't know, because we've got so much going on, with so much input, with social media and work and traffic and people, and
there's so much stimulus.
Exactly, stimulus. That's right.
Around.
Yes. So, what would you say are the top 5 benefits, or even more than 5 if there are, of meditation and coming to you and doing all these kinds of practices, peaceful practices, especially in our modern world?
Okay. Top 5. Wow, there's always so many. Where do I
we'll
start?
Give the top 10 then.
Where do I start? Peaceful mind.
Yes.
Peaceful heart. Harmony. Joy. Heart opening. Unconditional love.
Isn't that easy, Kasia? Can you walk in, have a session with you, and come out feeling with your heart open for the joy and unconditional love?
Yes.
Wow. Sign me up.
Yes. It's a journey, so it really invites us to experience each meditation, each healing session, each workshop as it needs to be experienced. So it actually helps us to be in a present moment. So when we can come to those classes or healing session without expectation, we actually leave the openness for limitless possibilities of change and growth and healing.
Wow. And do you find that there are a lot of people coming to you who have a lot of stress in their lives, that are in corporate jobs?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's actually what I wanted actually to mention, that you might think that there are people who are not stressful. Actually, every single one of us experience stress in life.
It's true.
Some to higher degree, some to lower degree. But I do get lots of clients, doctors, solicitors, CEOs, where they really have a stressful jobs and they have lots of responsibility. And quite often they start with private meditation classes because they maybe want to learn how to breathe or how to find that stillness within. And as we discussed then in a private session, our complexity of our being, and they start realizing like, oh wow, I need to take care not only of my body, but my mind and my emotions and my energetical field. Then they start going deeper into the progression and expansion, where they start seeing deeper changes. Because when we start really thinking of ourselves as a spiritual being, not only physical being, and we start taking care of whole of us, that's where the change really happens. That's where the peace and joy can really start coming to our life.
It's very reassuring to know that people in the corporate world, who we see as probably perhaps a little bit disconnected, coming to see you and getting in touch with their inner self.
Yeah.
It's very reassuring, isn't it?
And also teachers, which is amazing.
Yes, there's a lot of stress in the teaching profession, for sure.
Yes.
Would you say that anybody suffering from stress would benefit from?
Yes.
Yes,
100%. Because when we can start letting go of stress and being more in the present moment and learning the tools to take care of oneself, because it's not about having a meditation class 5 times a week and just doing that. It's about actually learning tools where in a stressful, challenging situation we can pause for a second, tune in within and just see what is, and not buying into that challenge, stress, discomfort, and actually look as an observer and know like, okay, I have a tools, I have breath, I have meditation, or I have a further mystical tools which can help me to balance myself, which is all available to everyone if we wish to bring the change.
Wow. Would you say that people spend too much time in their heads listening to their thoughts? Yeah. Would you say that's a common issue?
Yeah. I think the common issue is people are afraid of stillness.
It's so true.
Of nothingness, of being alone.
Yes.
But actually in those midst of stillness, I always say in the midst of stillness, I find myself. In the midst of stillness and peacefulness, I hear my inner wisdom. Wow. And all the answers we seek are are within. And so often what we do, we go to all those friends, we search the website, we look for answers in Google. But at the end of the day, the core message, the thing which we have to hear is within. And of course, once we hear the message, it's about taking actions, because knowing something is one thing, but acting upon it and gaining deeper understanding is another. So it's actually walking the path, living the life alive.
Sure.
Actually.
I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges, considering how many distractions we have and how often we look for distractions. Inner peace is what we all desire, and yet somehow we tend to not discipline ourselves enough to actually achieve it, to obtain it.
Yeah, that's something which brings me to our first meeting when I was leading self-love meditation, self-love workshop and yoga on the day of the festival. So for me, it's like, yes, we are looking always for external fulfillment, joy, happiness, or even external knowledge. But how much time are we spending to create a deep relationship with ourselves? We so want to take care of the relationship with our loved one, with our kids, our partner, our friends, our work. How much time are we committing to stay with oneself, to nourish ourselves?
It's very true, and a lot of us, no matter how much we achieve, no matter how much we have, we're still unhappy.
Yeah.
It's a, it's the human condition, as they call it, right? The human condition.
But as sages said, as within, so without.
That's right.
So,
and if you don't go within, you go without.
Yeah.
That's what they say, isn't it? That's right.
So once we find, regardless how much we have, once we have that joy and happiness and peace and fulfillment within, our external will change. Because we will vibrate on this high frequency, and then everything will start falling into place. What we're trying to do, we're trying to go the other way around. We're trying to manifest in the external world and thinking that this will come in, but that's not really the way.
I would say that it's a common misconception that everything is form, is solid. If you look at it on a quantum physical level, it's air and space, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting because the yogis knew this thousands of years ago, and science has just proven that to be the case.
Yes.
I think the Buddhist philosophy says that your mind isn't in your body's in your mind. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. So it's about remembering our actually spiritual nature. This is just a vessel we experiencing this physicality, this life. But so often we just get so caught up in this, forgetting that there is so much more externally. And as we start journeying inwards and connecting to our soul and our spirit, we are able to feel more, we are able to see more. And I don't mean only the tangible and things which we see with our eyes. I see something which are invisible and untangible. We are able to start sensing it, so our experience becomes so much more richer. We become really truly eternal beings, spiritual beings, experiencing life to the fullest.
Sounds beautiful, actually. I'm in. I'm totally in there. I personally find that meditation helps me an awful lot. Because what's interesting is that often we listen to our thoughts, and our thoughts give us our feelings, but they're not always positive thoughts.
No.
We're conditioned. Often we've had experiences through life, and our conditioning gives us our thoughts. And our thoughts aren't always positive. Sometimes our thoughts say, "Oh, you're rubbish. You can't do that." All those kinds of conversations, and we listen to those thoughts, and then they give us our feelings, which are, "Oh, I'm really bad today." Meditation just completely declutters all of that.
Yeah.
Out the way. And then you can just be whoever you want to be to create.
And it's also, I think, bring that space of consciousness throughout the day. So if we have any negative thoughts, can we have this big stop sign in our head and saying, "Okay, I see you, I hear you, but stop, no, you don't belong here." And then shift the focus into something positive. It takes time, I remember years and years back, I was working with one of my mentors, and she actually forbade me to complain for 21 days.
Wow.
To myself, in my head, and with externally with people.
Right.
And I was surprised at how I was actually communicating with everyone around, at work, friends. We were all complaining all the time. And I didn't have many conversations during those 2 weeks. And it was challenging,
isn't it? We don't even know, do we? We don't know that that's what we're doing. We don't know.
Yeah.
And there's also a famous saying, because I'm queen of quotes, it's not what life throws at you, it's how you react.
Yes.
And that's what creates the stress. So obviously, being aware of all these things helps us to not respond to life in such a stressful way.
Yeah. It's about acknowledging something. So sometimes at the beginning of the meditation, I also say that. So when we meditate, we might have a busy mind, something might come in, but that doesn't mean that we have to buy into it. Smile on it, acknowledge it. So give your energy to it and say thank you for coming to my awareness, and then return back to your journey, to your meditation. So the same in the daily life. If there is something challenging, painful, stressful,
Confronting.
Yeah, exactly. Just say, okay, I see. Thank you for mirroring this to me, for showing, and then just come back. Okay, how do I feel inside? And then come back to that space of loving heart, of acknowledging something, seeing something, but not buying into it, not becoming it. Because sometimes we might feel anger, and anger, it's not necessarily a negative emotion. It can be used as a motivator.
Absolutely.
For a change. So if we feel the anger, and if we pause for a second and we reflect, why do I feel this way? And we acknowledge it, and we find the answer within, we can actually turn this around and use it as a motivation instead of becoming an anger. That's and being the angry person and then beating ourselves up, and it's this vicious circle of negativity. We can shift.
There's a really great term for that. It's being, which I term it as being given by it. Being given by an upset, being given by anger, being given by an emotion, where it literally just swallows you whole and has you for dinner and then burps you out.
Yeah. But it doesn't have to be this way.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, absolutely. And that's where that awareness comes in, that meditation. It gives you a certain level of power over that, whereas you're not given by it anymore, you can simply observe it. I think it's impossible for, I'm sure you'd agree, to have the mind be completely empty at all times.
And that's
thoughts come in and out, they arise.
Yeah, and that's something I wanted to actually mention. Sometimes my clients or my students will say, oh, it's easy for you because you're always so calm. I said that, well, it has been a journey for me. So I was not in the state of mind how I am now, 5 years, 10 years ago. It's a journey, and it's just actually about, can I each day be better than yesterday? Can I be more aware? Can I be more positive? And just accept that there are still challenges. There are still rainy days. It's okay. But it's just, can I commit to myself to be loving and caring and nourish my body, soul, and spirit with a positivity, with light?
You're all about self-love, aren't you?
Yeah.
And let's talk a bit about that.
Yeah.
Because you're an advocate for self-love, and I would say that all that you've said are all functions of self-love. About self-nurturing, self-worth. I'm enough, or I value myself enough that I'm going to do this for myself. All these things are simply functions of self-love, right?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, and let me tell you, self-love being really a big one on my journey of healing, growth, and expansion of actually becoming a healer. I always find self-love, self-acceptance was the final key to complete the lesson.
It's a biggie, isn't it? I'd say that it's a biggie for most of us.
Yeah. And under the self-love, there's so many aspects. Actually, self-love would be self-responsibility. Self-love, it's not only, flower bath. For those who know me, I love taking time for myself and nourishing my body with beautiful smells and nature. But actually, self-love sometimes is tough. Sometimes it's really taking action. It's really committing to self to take the right steps to take care of your physical, spiritual, and emotional body. So it's not all only the rose petals and all the beautiful things
and sparkling unicorns.
Yes.
I would say, I'm sure you would agree, we have a serious rise of stress and mental health problems and unhappiness in society. That's out of a lack of self-love, a lack of peacefulness, a lack of all of these things that we're talking about.
Yeah.
What can people get when they come to you then?
It's to know oneself.
Yes.
So that's the main thing. Loving oneself. How can we truly love oneself if we don't know what brings us that feeling of love and care? So loving oneself and overcoming the stress, anxiety or depression is actually journeying inwards to know oneself. What brings me joy? What's my boundaries? What do I want to do in life? All the million questions we actually have to answer it for oneself. We need to know what kind of life we want to live. And without that, how can we really produce the life of our dreams? So it's about coming back still in stillness, asking the question, reflecting, and taking time for oneself to learn more about the most important relation in our life, the relationship with oneself. Because only us, we're gonna be there for ourselves from the moment we take the first breath to the very last one.
So you run women's circles, don't you?
I do, yes.
Tell us a bit about your women's circles.
Okay. So Women's Circle is a very beautiful sacred space where we gather with women, like-minded women, who are ready to connect deeply to our divine feminine essence. So that essence of nourishment. And as many women, we are such givers. So we constantly give to our kids, our partners, family, friends. But let me tell you, many of us are the very last one on the list.
Yes, it's true.
But how can we share the love and nourishment with others if our cup is half full or almost empty? So it's about coming back home to the space where we can nourish ourselves, where we can find that deep knowing what makes me feel safe, what makes me feel fulfilled, in balance and nourished, and feel that pod ourselves. So from that space of overflow, we can then go and give unconditionally without expecting anything back. So like bringing that healthy balance as well to our family, to our husbands, partners, at work, where we give without expecting back. Because that's the beauty of giving. And so that allows us to really not only increase the level of the intimacy with oneself, but also brings more beauty in the relationships with people in our lives.
Who wouldn't want that, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a common issue. Lots of women, big givers, giving to the family, and not giving to ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's very important. So where do you run these women's circles?
So women's circles are in Monument in central London and in Stansted.
Wow.
So there are two places. We're hoping to create one here in Chingford or in Walthamstow.
Sounds great. Sign me up.
Yeah, and we hope to create more aware women, because as we are coming from this space of fulfillment and really deep nourishment, we really can show up and we can make change in the world. Because as a woman carrying the feminine energy, we give birth. And I don't mean just a birth to our kids, but birth to ideas and all the beautiful projects we have. So
Beautiful.
by being, strong and connected with ourselves, we're able to create that.
That's a great analogy, and I'm going to quote Shakespeare now. And Shakespeare said, "I'm pregnant with creativity."
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm gonna do a high five. Yes.
So so many beautiful things you're offering here, and you're going to be setting up locally as well. So get some of the local ladies down. Come on, ladies, come down to Kasia's beautiful women's circle. I think Shaz wants to join, by the look on his face. Can men get in touch with their inner feminine?
Yes, they can. I do sometimes actually mix circles for both men and women when we balance masculine and feminine energy within. Because as an individual, we are in our, feminine, in my feminine body, but I have also my masculine and feminine energy within. And actually, to have that harmonious relationship with self, we need both, and they need to be in union and in balance. But maybe that's for another.
Absolutely. It sounds amazing. There's so many possibilities, aren't there?
Yes.
What would you say, Kasia, to somebody who was a little bit resigned and cynical and a bit resistant, but they were really stressed out and they were given by their mind? What would you say to them?
Close your eyes, hold your heart, and connect to your deepest desire within.
Wow. And then you probably go into some place where you're lying on a beach where you can hear the sea.
Yeah.
And the sky is blue and the sun's shining. And before you know it, you're thinking, oh, I don't want to be here anymore.
Because once we connect with this beauty inside and we open the eyes, we will go and take actions.
Yes.
Because we want more of it.
So true. So true.
So once we can know that there can be a change, that we can connect that space of peacefulness and joy within, we will start, it's like a growing hunger, tasting that sweetness. It's like, I want another bite and another bite. That's what happened to me actually. And I continuously grow and expand as a healer and a teacher. I continuously study. So each day I approach life as a teacher and a student.
Wow. And you've been doing this since you were 9 years old?
No, since I was 25.
Oh, okay. Right. But at the age of 9, you made the decision that you were going to create your peace.
Yes.
So you've been on that journey.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Whether you've been doing different kinds of work, that's a different question. But you're definitely fulfilling on what you said you do at the age of 9. So well done.
Thank you.
So tell everybody, Kasia, about your website and how to find you. And you do retreats as well, don't you?
Yes, I do spiritual retreats. So if you would like to find out a bit more of what I offer, please visit my website. It's www.findblisswithin.com. And the retreats around there are spiritual retreats which help you to connect with self. So everything we spoke about here, it's there. So come and join.
Go and check out Kasia's website. Kasia, what a juicy chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
And good luck with it all. I hope that everybody comes to your women's circle.
Thank you.
Everyone, men, women, everyone. Amazing, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I'm going to look forward to the podcast we're going to be doing.
Yes.
All about self-love, life activation,
yes,
and the spiritual journey.
Yeah, let's share more of this beauty.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Lovely, thank you.
Bye everyone, thank you.
See you.